Hello everybody. I wanted to make a quick video about Dead by Daylight. I guess the last time I made a proper video, it was the Dead by Daylight review. And exactly what happened in the review, or exactly what I experienced in my first 2 or 3 days of playing this game, unfortunately keep happening. I don't want to say kept happening because I know in the future it's gonna happen again. So I wanted to make a quick, I guess, rant about it. I know I'm a very opinionated person. I actually find it, I guess, what I was gonna say is that I complain a lot. There's no other way of saying it, you can't really sugarcoat it, and neither do I want to. I'm really opinionated about the games I play, and how you should play them fairly. Even when I was playing, World of Warcraft or Team Fortress 2 or other games where it's basically a multiplayer game. And multiplayer games, there's always an element of unfairness because the game, you cannot balance a game completely. But what I really hate is when something is obviously, overpowered and the developers either don't take the time to fix it at all, or they take months and months of time to fix something, and then at that point you've already kind of got tired of it. And what I mean in this game, I've been playing Killer and Survivor, so I actually played both, but it seems to me that most people I got matched against only play Survivor. Sometimes I play Killer. Let's not say sometimes. Most of the times when I play Killer, I get matched against survivors that played the game for 700 to 800 hours. Some of the Steam profiles are hidden, but the ones that aren't, I check when I get into a lobby. You go into the lobby as a killer, and sometimes a lot of players join with the Claudette skin. And if you don't know, Claudette is very, very easy to hide with. She's actually nigh invisible, even if she's right in front of you. And so many times I played against Claudette that I also watch streamers play this game that play at a very high rank, and still people just hide with Claudette. But anyway, sometimes people join with Claudette and I just check their Steam profile just to make sure it's not like a 3 or even a 4-man survivor group, because then I would just leave. Why would I play against a 4-man survivor group when I played Killer for 20 hours? And I know they're gonna teabag because they always do. And so many times it's like they actually play the game for 800 hours. And what happens? In case you're not familiar with the game as Killer, maybe you've never played it, but first of all, it's really hard. Most of the times, if you are matched against veteran survivors, because they rush the generators. Of course, what else would they do? Because that's kind of the only objective in the game, unless you hook somebody. But it's just not enough time to sort of win the game as a killer. And a lot of the times, what happens? 5 generators. There was one game. I'll tell you about this one game. It's the worst game I've ever had in my entire life in DBD. And after that review, I talked about that one game with Trapper. It was even worse than that. Okay? The generators, all 5 of them, were done in about 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes, guys. And I managed to hook one person. The exit gates were open. And survivors, people that only play survivors don't really know. They live in this sort of dream world where all survivors must escape. And if you leave the hook when the exit gates are open, all the generators are done, that one survivor will be, the very least, saved from the hook, and then they will body block for her to get out of the exit. And especially I was playing a Trapper, so there's no way I can insta down somebody. I never play with Noed either. So I stay near the hook because there's not much else to do. And when I play Survivor, actually quite a lot when I was leveling from, let's see. I'm actually at a much worse rank with Survivor than Killer. You can see it up there, I forgot. I'm rank 15, so around like rank 17, 16, I don't know what it was. All the killers just face camped from the very beginning of the game, where they would hook somebody, and then they would stay near the hook until they died. And that's pretty bad, like that's an actual face camp. When the exit gates are open and you stay near a hook, I don't really consider that face camp, and neither do the streamers that I watch this game, that I watch play this game. Those guys, you know, there's especially this one guy who is very, very good at the game, and you know, he tries not to tunnel either. You know, he always gives hedge to people, and he doesn't consider it, you know, face camp either. It's just Survivor mains never having played the killer, so they don't really know, you know, what they want you is to play badly. But on the flip side, if you let them off the hook when the exit gates are open, you go into the endgame chat, and then what do they say? They say GG easy baby killer, right? Anyways, this one game I had yesterday evening, Trapper, I managed to hook one person in the entire game. To be honest with you, I don't think I played that badly with the chase either. They were just really quick with the gens. And I stay near the hook. There was a Claudette, of course a fucking Claudette, next to me, trying to unhook the person, you know, flashlight spamming, and I just don't let her. Even if you hit the person, that's the funny thing. Even if I would have hit the Claudette, because the killer has a long animation of after you hit somebody, they just get that person off the hook. So I tried not to hit her. The person died, and then this toxic Claudette, I managed to hit her once, and I was so fucking happy, man, because she ran into my trap. Exit gates are open. She ran into my trap after being toxic as fuck. I hook her, and she gets the 4%. There's a 4% chance of any player just jumping off the hook, okay? Just without getting saved. And, you know, I expect it. I'm like, this person is toxic as fuck. I'm going to expect the 4% and then hit her when she lands. She jumped down. I waited around like 1.5 seconds. I hit her. I see the blood. You know, she makes the sound, and she doesn't go down. Maybe, to be honest with you, I recorded the very end of the game. Maybe it was insta heal, but I don't think so. I think it was just lag. And of course she gets away because there's a pellet there. And then that's when the abuse began, because as a trapper, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna D-pip. If you don't get enough points in the game, you just lose your rank. So I started setting up traps which reward them easily 100 points each on the one side of the map, and then the other side of the map where the exit gates are, these two survivors, the toxic Claudette and another player with decisive strike, Fang Min. She was playing the character Fang Min, I think. They are just like spamming and jump vaulting until I go there, and then they teabag me, and then they stay there. I was just setting up traps to get some points, and then I chase them out of the exit gates, and then they just obviously GG easy baby killer, etc in endgame chat. That was the worst game I ever played. And then today I had another game where the gems were popping really fast. I got the Auto Haven map, which is really long. I hate that map so much, to be honest. And I managed to. They did all the gens. I killed one person at that point. I hooked another person. This third person who was injured went for the unhook, even though I just literally hooked the person. So I managed to down her, and then I managed to down a Bill with decisive strike that wasn't healed either. So I'm like 4 men, nice. The Bill managed to miss his decisive strike because he's a decisive strike player. They can't get a skill check right to save their lives. And he gets the 4% when I walk away. He gets the 4% chance to jump off the hook, and then he just leaves. Always happens, man. But the reason why I'm mentioning these games, I'm not sure if it was the Trapper game that I just mentioned, but around like 20-30 minutes ago, I joined the game as a survivor. I play Nia. I don't know, I always put on bright clothes as a survivor, even as a Claudette, because Man, it's not toxic to wear dark clothes, but look at this. So I wear this red one, this red shirt, easy to see. Before that, I used to wear like salmon jacket, you know. People always wear this, or they get like prestige clothing, and you cannot see them. But yeah, anyways, I play as Nia. I don't really know why. I just kind of like stuck to her. I leveled up Claudette because she's the only character in the game, guys, that not only is the hardest to see as a survivor, but all of her perks that you get by default, all of these 3 perks are really good. So yeah, not only is she easy to not only is she easy to hide with, but she has the most overpowered perks in the game. The only thing she doesn't have is exhaust perks. You know, perks that make you run faster, or lithe, that makes you vault, that makes you get a sprint burst when you vault, or indeed the balanced landing. She doesn't have those, but otherwise, you know, she's set. Yeah, around like half an hour ago, I joined a game as Nia. You know, I'm playing Survivor. I played 2 Trapper games today because I had the quest, and after those 2 games, I was matched against, you know, again, survivors that had 800 to 1000 hours in the game. Was really hard, and I'm just sweating. Like, you know, when you are anxious, maybe you have anxiety, or maybe you just don't like social situations, you start sweating and then it smells. Like, it's so awkward to say, but it's not like normal sweat, it's like anxiety sweat. 2 games with Trapper and I was sweating my balls off, man. And I just kept playing Survivor after that. Just kept playing with Nia. And the recent game I joined, this guy joined. I can't remember his name. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I thought that when you join a game, the chat that you see before the game disappears after the game. I wanted to take a screenshot of the conversation, but he was like, "Oh, Alex, yeah, I know you. You face cammed me," and I'm like, on the other screen, I'm watching a movie whilst I'm waiting for the queue to pop. I look back and it's like 10 messages. Oh yeah, you face cammed. I'm like, what? I never face cammed, and that's when it gets me. Oh, it's like the exit gates must have been open, and I stay near the hook to not lose the like one survivor. You know, otherwise they just rescue everybody. It's very simple. You know. You either stay there or the survivor escapes when the exit gates are open. Not really much else to do. And I'm like, that must have been one of the guys. It wasn't the very toxic Claudette that got into my trap and didn't go down after getting the 4%, and it wasn't the Fang Min that was with her. Though I'm not sure, maybe they changed names. Unfortunately, that person left the match, left the lobby, before I could check the Steam profile. And that person that joined the chat, he had like some sort of a Dutch name, but he asked the killer to face camp me. Like, what the fuck? And honestly, I would report that person, but the devs aren't gonna do anything. Sometimes I report people for being unsportsmanlike. That's one of the options in the report menu. But it's not gonna do anything. The developers only ban people if they, you know, use exploits or cheats. And in that very game that I just told you about, it was really bad because the 4th person was a bot, I think, because they joined the match, they instantly disconnected. They didn't even have the disconnect icon that players normally get. And then when I checked the profile, it was like replay number 6000 something. So yeah, fun times in DBD. At least the killer didn't facecam me. And because of these experiences with killer, I just don't want to play killer anymore. Killer is really the only, like, I don't want to say fun. You get more blood points as a killer and you rank up faster as a killer than a survivor. But man, you have to be sweating your balls off to get the game through. On the other hand, survivors rank up slower in my opinion, and you get much less blood points. but there's not much you have to do, and like it's not. The killer can be toxic by, you know, like actually face camping you from the very beginning of the game, as I said. I never fucking do, but I never do that, and I don't understand why killers do that either, because when you stay near a hooked person for more than 10 seconds after hooking them, you actually lose blood points. Not blood points, sorry. You lose points that are required for you to rank up. So camping is only really a valid strategy if the survivors aren't rushing gens. But once they, you know, if I see a killer camp, I just go do gens. Like, what else am I gonna do? And then he's just gonna DP most likely as well. It's just stupid. And it makes me laugh because that person is like, "Oh yeah, Alex, you face cam me," and I don't really understand, because all the, like, a lot of the games I had with Survivor, people actually face camp from the very beginning of the game, and then you call me a face camper for trying to secure 1 kill after the exit gates are open. Like, what the fuck, man? And all these survivors, as I said, that one person that said that, I couldn't check his profile, but I'm pretty sure he must have played the game for ages, you know. All the survivors, whenever they escape, it's like GG easy killer. They have 800 hours played. And the only possible explanation that I have is that they never actually played killer. Because if you play both sides, there's a much higher chance that you feel bad for the other people, and you don't really face camp, you don't use decisive strike as a survivor, you don't use no one escapes death as a killer, and you are just generally less toxic if you play both sides. But these people don't play both sides, they just play survivor, and then they troll the killer. And the problem is they get away with it because the devs just don't care. Not really sure what they would do, to be honest. As I said, they only really ban people if they use exploits. It's just, this game by default is just very, very toxic. And you know, I play my Zoo Tycoon 2. That's my baby little game. But it's just, I don't really want to play only that. And I've been playing a couple of other games in my Steam library, but I want to play this game. You know, I find this game, I think this game is like a golden goose. Sorry, a golden egg producing goose for the developers. It's so great. It's so addicting. You know, all the points, you do different stuff, you get points, and then there's a lot of skill involved. Even as a survivor, to be honest with you, there's a lot of skill involved, and man, it's just, I find it fun to level up the blood. I really like the blood web as well. Let's actually get self-care number 3 before I forget. That's one of the Claudette perks that is. This is probably the best survivor perk in the entire game. If I couldn't run anything else, I would probably just run self-care. You can heal yourself and you don't have to rely on other people to heal you. Very important. I just like it, you know, it's, even though there's a lot of overpowered perks, you can kind of mix and match. Not really as a killer, to be honest with you. I'm trying to get the... as a killer, I recently got Hex, Ruin, and Bamboozle on the Shrine. Every week there's different perks you can get, even if you don't own those killers, you know. And I'm trying to level up my Billy to get the Enduring, which decreases the time that you spend, you know, being stunned. And I also want to get Spirit Fury. And I just, you know, I have these like plans in my head and I find it fun to play, but I also hate it so much. And I don't know, I never really played League of Legends. I played Dota 2 for a while, but it wasn't this bad. It wasn't this toxic. At least in my experience, but maybe I just haven't played those games enough, I guess. But I feel like people overblow MOBA games anyways. This game is like actually like very, very toxic. There should be a game mode in DBD that is not ranked, because right now you can only play ranked mode. And in Overwatch you have ranked and you have free play. Or like, I'm not really sure what it's called, but you know, it's just like you play for fun. And normally people actually play in Overwatch for fun unless they are in ranked. So I don't understand how this game has been out for like what, 2 or 3 years and it's only ranked and it's really broken. You don't get any rewards either. So yeah, I wanted to make this little rant video because all of these bad games as killer have been on my mind constantly. I've also been really sick. I got the flu. Today was like the first day I could talk properly for longer than 10 seconds. So I just wanted to share it on my YouTube channel. I wanted to get the word out. Personally, I wouldn't buy this game. As I said in my review, as a new player, I wouldn't buy this game. Unless you have a really thick skin and you don't mind, you know, sucking for God knows how long and getting matched up against players much better than you. But I guess you could just play Survivor and then sometimes you get matched up against an actual face camper. But it's still better than playing a killer. I shall see you in the next video. Probably gonna be Zoo Tycoon 2. Let's be honest here. Bye bye.